Hey guys, good evening. StarsXP here. I'm making this video. I'll try to keep it short and consistent. It's about the new league at the moment, the Legacy of Phrecia, that's coming up the 20th of February. If it's worth your time to play it, if you are especially a Path of Exile 2 player that haven't tried Path of Exile 1 already, I think it's worth your time. They're introducing something that's called Idols. And also, of course, they're adding totally new Ascendancies to all of the classes that are available at the game, which are the 6 main classes, let's say, and the Scion. You'll have to, in order to unlock it, you'll have to go to Act 3 in a specific area that's called the Upper Scepter of the God. You'll have to go farther in the tower, spoiling you some stuff, and you will find her inside a cage. You'll talk to her, she'll be outside. There's no need, you can kill the boss of the Act 3. Then if you're gonna restart, she's gonna appear here in the creation. Considering the Ascendancies. The Ascendancies, are these available on the Path of Exile, the forum, considering the Legacy of the Phrecia. But before getting there, I would like to talk to you about 2 things that you'll have to do. 3 things actually that you'll have to do in order to play this league efficiently. Of course, you'll have to play in Trade League. You would need uniques, in order to make sufficient builds possible. And the trope of this 1 month, let's say 1 month league, is actually to try everything out. There are some decent Ascendancies, there are some better Ascendancies, and there are some bad Ascendancies. So as I said before going into this one, I would like you to download the Awakened Trade. Awakened PoE Trade. This one, it will help you a lot, considering that you're gonna play in the Trade League. About showcasing items, their value, their price, the prices from the last days, etc. Next thing, what you're gonna try and download is the Path of Building. If you haven't done so already in Path of Exile 2, you'll have to do it for Path of Exile 1. This is the most staple, necessary thing that you'll have to download in order to play the game. Very usually a guide of a content creator in YouTube. The first thing he's gonna mention in his description is his POB. Just have to click over his POB, copy the content of this page. You can actually do it another way, but I'll just show you this one. And when you have entered the POB, you're gonna go over to new, import export build, and import it from here with paste. Okay. Sir Gog actually has this one, and also I think about the next thing I'm gonna mention, the PoENinja. Okay, PoENinja is also the third and final thing that you need to have, besides the loot filter that I mentioned in the Path of Exile 2 video. If you want to start, of course you will need the loot filter Path of Exile 1 as well, but you'll need PoENinja simply because it showcases from the economy, the streamers. You can share your build in the community as well. Every person that has shared his build on every league, as you can see. You can also check the previous league. You can see actually what build is the most popular, which skills they like to use the most, effective HP pool, DPS, energy shield, life, everything that you want to see in order to have some, to grab some ideas about possible builds and to see how the meta is shifting. It's the most important thing actually to realize in the market league, how the meta shifts in order to target some specific items that they will need for sale, or if you want to go after the popular builds to have an idea about the prices of some items that are highly sought out. So with these 3 things, I don't remember how many were they actually mentioned. Let's go fast to the Ascendancies. Every Ascendancy, as I said, is mentioned here. The Legacy of Phrecia teasers, the forum thread is here. I'm not gonna try to bullshit you around. I haven't played many of these classes during my 3-4k hours in the game. Mostly I play around Shadow and Ranger and Witch, but I haven't gone that far with the Witch, but Shadow and Raider are my actual go-to decisions because Ranger is fast, Shadow is also, let's say, more tanky, and he can scale well with critical. Depending on the previous Ascendancies, they are new. Still, I'm gonna stick with Ranger and Shadow again. I'm gonna show you which Ascendancies are nice, the builds that are showcased in YouTube, and I think they will be quite good also to try out. some ascendancies to don't bother, and my personal take about 2 things that I might try on the league. So, Daughter of Oshabi is the first ascendancy of the Ranger that we're gonna talk about. If you have played Path of Exile 2 Deadeye with Lightning Arrow, Fubgun's build, and Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder, Ranger is also around the same idea. This one actually tends to go over wand attacks, Kinetic Blast, or a Power Siphon, or Elemental Hit of Spectrum. These are things that you will find out over if you want on your own in PoE DB. Just you can check on your own if you want. Check the notes if there is something that enhances the type of damage. For example, if you see here, it says increase attack damage per 450 evasion rating. So you see this ascendancy tends to attack builds. Also here it says something that's it's Spellslinger. What is Spellslinger? You can type it here in PoE DB. You will find out it's about wand attacks. So if you want to go about wand attacks, you want something that's attacked and projectile. So if you check for attacks and projectiles, you already have Kinetic Bolt, which is a wand attack, requires wands, Fragmentation also wands, Power Siphon wands, blah 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 blah. These are projectiles, but they require bows. They're also doable with this ascendancy. You get the gist, okay? If not, you don't want to engage in too much thinking, just go to YouTube, type Daughter of Oshabi, Ascendancy, Legacy of Phrecia, possible builds. They'll throw you some stuff. I'm showcasing an old build of 2 years ago. It's still viable. I think many people will have decent content about the current dates, but the general idea is you use wand attacks, you trigger the Spellslinger, and you have something like this happening. Several skills popping off your screen, while Mathil actually uses Frenzy. It's this here. And as you can see, he triggers several skills. Again, nothing too crazy. I think this ascendancy is nice to start, because Oath of Magi as a first ascendancy is actually decent to go into the, let's say, till Act 5, 6. It will be nice to have it. And then you can scale with anything else, poison if you want. So the next ascendancy of Ranger is the Whisperer. The Whisperer is a dex stacking, as you can see here. Ascendancy, it changes the inherited value of intelligence. It does not provide you with mana, and you have to choose over dexterity to gain mana. It's also a nice ascendancy to try out. The best build that's going to be way expensive and way popular is Manaforged Arrows of this guy, Converse. It's a nice ascendancy to try out again. Check out what you want to do. The third ascendancy of the Ranger is Wild Speaker. This is the ascendancy I will probably go into because most of the ascendancies that they released are either offensive or they're trying to use several gimmicks. You need to understand those gimmicks in order to make the ascendancy work. And they don't offer, let's say, many defense choices. I like to play Trickster, which is a Shadow ascendancy that is, let's say, highly defensive. This approach lacks from the current ascendancies of this league. I think I'm gonna try with this ascendancy, the Wild Speaker. Something important that I didn't mention is you can change in Path of Exile 1 the ascendancies. For example, if you are on Ranger and you ascended as Daughter of Oshabi, you can change if you want to Wild Speaker. It will require you though to run the lab again, the Uber version of the lab. It's the first. Imagine that you're doing Trial of Sekhemas with 4 rooms. Okay, you have to redo it in order to have the decision to changing again the ascendancy, but it's possible. It's not like I picked up this one. If I want to try something else, I have to reroll up a character. Not necessary. So as I said, Wild Speaker is it's a decent ascendancy. It has some defensive mechanics that you can get from the get-go into something like a deck stacker blade trap build. I like to play traps and mines. Sadly, there is no ascendancy that gives an advantage over traps and mines. But it is what it is, and I'm gonna stick to this one. Another one ascendancy is of the Shadow, Servant of Arakaali. Servant of Arakaali, the first thing that came to mind while watching this one was Poison SRS. Poison SRS, the guy that actually is, I think he introduced that idea of a build, and he made that build, is Balormage. This guy here, you should check him out about this build. For sure, he'll provide the best of content. I think this is a decent league starter. I think it requires some uniques. I think it requires Severed or United Dreams. United in Dreams, not Manchester United. United in Dream, you can do this also with Severed. I think he also used the Juju. Yeah, he also used a Covenant. He also used Aegis Aura. Yeah, you'll need, as you can see, this is a standard build, does like 26 million DPS. It's viable, requires a lot of Abyss Jewels as well. It's viable over endgame content, but it will require you uniques. For these uniques to get them, you'll need Trade Link. Next one, the most bullshit ascendancy at the moment is Blind Prophet. It's the second ascendancy mentioned of Shadow. Now, the reason for that is, as I told you, you have to check PoENinja in order to see the most popular skills in the game to understand where the meta shifts. The most popular, of course, skill in the game is Lightning Strike, which is a bullshit skill, still OP, still owning the game, despite the fact that I'm away from the game 2 years. Lightning Strike and this one, Multi-Strike of Zenith, still own. There we have it. So this one is one of the most bullshit skills at the moment. The build is highly popular, as you can see already. Fubgun has posted a video about it. The Blind Prophet is a nice, I think it's the best ascendancy as a starter to go ahead. One of the best, if not the best. I didn't want to go over with Blade Trap because I couldn't get advantage of these two, so I had to go with Explodes and other nodes. But it's gonna be popular ascendancy, that's for sure. You're gonna see lots of Blind Prophets on here when the new league is gonna arrive. So check around Lightning Strike, it's gonna be popular as I said. Next, I don't have the Surf guy. Yeah, I don't mention the Surf guy because I think the Ascendancy is mid best. Another popular build to try out, despite, as I said, the Whisper Manaforged. This guy is gonna show you. And Spellslinger of the ones. Our Siphon Locus Mines as jungroan, of course. The guy to check around for every bullshit that might seem possible to work, but he managed to make it happen. He showcases how he starts the game. He showcases them on an SSF, Heroic or SSF league, so players can understand the playstyle from the beginning. It's actually the best thing that's happening. This wasn't the case for the old content creators of PoE1. They were just showing off the build, engaging in endgame content, and new players didn't know how to approach that build from the beginning. I saw DSLD doing this, and Jung, there are several content creators that changed their ways the last period. So check around for sure this one. It's one of the 3 most bullshit builds out there, and you can definitely start it from SSF. So some POBs are also available. As I said, we click them, we copy them, we import them into the path of building. Now, sorry about this one. Some ascendancies that are actually decent for this build that I mentioned, the Locus Mines, is going to be by taking the Scion, this one, and make the Ascendancies of Scavenger. You can go also with the build that I mentioned. You have to go with Fury Valve and Void Battery. I think it's this one here, but not showing apparently. Another nice ascendancy is Polytheist from Templar. Templar is this guy here that doesn't wear pants. I have not played him, but just by looking the ascendancy notes, this is like a bullshit. Sure about that. This one is also bullshit to me. Another one is a melee. Let's say it's the Warrior of Path of Exile 1. Is the Ancestral Commander. +3 endurance charges. The nearby enemies convert physical damage to fire. 20% of damage from hit is taken from your nearest totem of life before you. Anyway, Polytheist Scavenger, AntiAquarium. These are ascendancies. This is the Marauder as well. These are ascendancies that are worth in order to experiment, but I don't have enough info to provide you with something decent to try out. But to go over to Google, to someone that knows his deal and talk about. But the Ascendancy of Shadow, the Surfcaster, it looks cheat, it looks broken, but I was thinking of doing this Ascendancy just for Lightning Trap in order to engage with the casting speed and another casting speed node there if I get a Fishing Rod and also convert my damage to cold. But I think it lacks the defensive mechanics for this Ascendancy are non-existent, based on the Ascendancy as it is, not going over the passive tree and the things that I would pick, or the gear that I could have in order to make the character approachable to endgame content. The purpose of me choosing an Ascendancy is not only how well the Ascendancy is going to go during the early game and the mid game, how much damage it will do, but actually how far can I get to the end game, which is the most important reason of choosing an Ascendancy for me. That's why I said again, I'm going over Wild Speaker, Blade Trap, deck stacker. Blade Trap has an issue with clear, but it's a great boss killer. I'm not quite, let's say, not quite sure if I go that way. If not, I'll maybe try as a daughter of Oshabi. Again, sorry about that. I'll try again as a daughter of Oshabi, maybe with wands, since wands are also attacks, but they're also projectiles, so I don't know again how will I go over my tree. I haven't made the PoE yet. So my idea is go over Ranger, maybe go once, get over the acts, the 10 acts of the game, go into maps, maybe go a little bit, farm a little bit, and then maybe changing, if I manage to get like 2 items that I need for the build of the Wild Speaker, I will swap then to, if I manage to get the item from the Wild Speaker, I'll swap to Wild Speaker and go to Blade Trap. Yeah, I think lots of info. I dropped bombs around. For people that don't know the game, it might seem a lot of info. It's Path of Exile 1. You should play trade, because if you will play SSF, you will have to engage also with the new mechanics of the game that you haven't understand already, with also crafting, new Ascendancies. And I don't want you to play the game having this kind of bullshit, which is the average PoE person experience in the game, having like at least 15 tabs of things about PoE in order to play and enjoy a game. GG said it's a 1-month league. I think they will postpone it. I think they will make it more. The time is not enough to go around and say whatever you want. Something else about Wild Speaker is rules and plus Frenzy and Power Charge smell Flicker. Flicker is a nice thing if you have tried it on Path of Exile 2. I think maybe Mage Fist is gonna over this. 1 moment. Yeah, I think Mage Fist is gonna make a video about this for sure. Our standard dexterity stacking Flicker strike build, of course. It's the most obvious choice. It's a Headhunter as well. Tailwind. Anyway, start with either, as I said, start with Ranger or Shadow. Pick up Lightning Strike. Pick up Multi-Strike of Zenith. Pick up Kinetic Blast of Clustering or Kinetic Blast Normal. Pick up Power Siphon if you want to play the normal version. Pick up Power Siphon of Archmage if you want to play the Whisper version, which stacks mana. Stacking everything in the game, as you have guessed from the gemming bullshit in Path of Exile 2, is a nice thing. It works here as well. The issue here with stacking dexterity or evasion in this case here is there are not many defense mechanics, as I said, in these ascendancies provided. What else? Templar, as I said, Polytheist is nice. Scion Scavenger is also nice. Duelist, I don't know bullshit about this one. The build that I played on Duelist, it was the one I removed at the beginning. It was a Facebreaker Infernal Blow build of like 10 years ago, which I also had no shit to give you an advantage. And sad, as I said, don't play Surfcaster, play the other two. Servant Arakaali, Ancestral Poison, Balormage, Blind Prophet with Lightning Strike, Molten Strike, and whatever else attack you want that has projectiles, and take advantage of it. That's all you need to know. How to make money, how to engage with the league. I'm gonna share some video maybe afterwards, showcasing also my ideas about the build that I'm making. Thanks for watching. I'll try to edit this one up. See you in the next one.